It's been a long time since we've seen anything Astro Boy, at least here in North America, come across our screens, which is a shame. The last news we had was back in 2015 when a reboot trailer was shown, but so far it's been quiet, like I said, at least here in North America. Astro Boy, for those who may not know or remember, was an anime and manga series from 1952 to 1968. Released in Japan, and then in North America in 2002, and then it was made into a TV series and all that. Astro Boy Omega Factor gained a lot of praise and positive reviews, labeled as one of the best action games on the Game Boy Advanced. I think this series is worth seeking out and watching today, and this game is a must-play. I finished the game in just over 8 hours at 100%, which also includes time for me backtracking, getting lost, having to look up a walkthrough, and then continuing on from there. Astro Boy Omega Factor was released first in Japan in 2003, North America in 2004, and finally in Europe in 2005 on the Game Boy Advanced. Omega Factor features elements from Astro Boy's different incarnations. It features the concept of robot rights, Dr. Tenma's ultimate plan for Astro Boy Robot Boy, wow. And the robot city in Antarctica that's lifted straight from the 2003 TV series. This game is divided into two parts, Birth and Rebirth, and once you play the game, you kinda see why. Developed by Treasure and Hitmaker, and published by Sega, this game was praised for its level design and graphics. And in the 2010 book, 1001 Video Games You Must Play Before You Died, it ranked at 545. Also, if you're interested in what other games are on the list, I will link it below. Somebody actually went through and made a checklist. So far, I think I have like about 50 of the 1001 games. The list is from 2013, so take that with a grain of salt that some games are not outstandingly good on there, but they sold well, or they were made before online reviews were a thing. Nintendo Power named Omega Factor as their 38th best game of all time in their final issue in 2015, saying, "It captures the essence of Astro Boy perfectly, and melds with the developer Treasure's trademark brand of pulse-pounding action." In 2013, Game Informer listed Omega Factor as one of the best anime manga games ever, released in English, ever. This game got major praise for its graphics and visual style, and playing it, I can see why. Every area is beautiful to look at, each level is gorgeously designed with a unique theme throughout, and each screen is something new to look at. With simple, yet detailed designs using bright colors, good background motion, and differentiating platform designs, it makes exploring to look for goodies or, other hidden things worthwhile and rewarding. Each character is easily identifiable, and everything has a distinct look to it, and you can immediately tell who is who and what is what just by a quick glance at them. The animations are pretty spot on and fluid, and although there's an occasional chug along, and I don't know if that has to do with the emulator or if that's in the original game, it doesn't take away from the overall experience because it doesn't happen that often, and it's sometimes not even like an issue. The game is just that good. I really can't get over how good everything looks in this game. It's cute without being alienating, it's fast-paced without being confusing or distracting, and it's just a good, clean, fun game. So Astro attacks with basic punches and kicks as well as laser fingers, which, I think all of us today wish we could have some laser fingers. I think that's some cool shit. During combat, a bar at the top is slowly filled, and once filled and charged, you can unleash special moves like machine gun, cannon arm, and an EX dash. And if you're on lower levels, it is almost impossible to run out of those unless you're constantly spamming your special moves. On higher difficulties though, it is, you can definitely run out of those, and it's definitely noticeable that you're on higher levels. I also found a little exploit, and I know I'm not the first one, I just said this, but if you spam your L, which is your special, and you constantly attack, you won't get any damage, but again, that's not doable on higher levels or higher difficulties. I found it a little tough to do spin dashes sometimes, especially while climbing the Great Pyramid, because directional pads and the spin dash wants to go one way and you have to climb while there's boulders rolling down, and it's just, ooh. Everything is just, ooh. It's so good except for that one part for me. It's a good feeling hit system as well, with rewarding feedback when you beat up the enemies. There's some pretty good boss fights throughout the entire game, but my personal favorite pretty much has to be against Blue Knight. It's a QTE jousting event, which, QTE usually sucks. Nobody really likes QTEs, unless they're like few and far in between. But this one was fun, it was fast, and it didn't overstay its welcome. And if I'm forgetting, I might be. I think it's the only QTE event in the game. I have to go back and play it again. Combat is, like I said, combat is solid. It feels good, but it's not surprising because this is a well-polished game. Just like the combat, the sound design is spectacular. At least for me it is. Each area has its own little soundtrack, which is actually decent, and often I found myself nodding along and bobbing along, and the songs do not get repetitive. Well, at least for me they didn't. Everything has a general, upbeat vibe, even in the scarier quote-unquote or darker sections. There's also, the standard punching and exertion noises from Astro Boy. Everything sounds like it belongs and is part of the world. Like I said, the sounds though, for me, they did not get on my nerves, even after the 4th time through the area, which I think is a good thing because it's a handheld game, so you're gonna pick it up for maybe 30 minutes, an hour at a time, and you don't want the noises that are there to be annoying after a while. This really is the essence of a side-scroll beat-em-up collection game on the Game Boy Advanced. Well, I say collection if you really want that sweet 100%. Yes, it's a lot of genres to unpack, so let's start at the beginning. It's a beat-em-up because literally, that's what you do. You punch and laser everything in your path. Side-scrolling because it's a side-scrolling game, and a collection game because you have to collect people. Wait, that sounds bad. You have to meet people, there we go, to level up and progress in the story. Now, you don't have to meet every single person to finish the story, but if you want that sweet 100%, you gotta. When you level up, you have the option to upgrade 6 abilities. Life, which, standard. Punch, makes you punch stronger. Laser, makes you shoot your laser stronger. Shot, I can't remember what that does. Oh, that's levels up one of your specials. Jets, I think that makes you go faster, be able to take more damage, or I can't remember. And Sensor, which helps you detect hidden things, people, and objects in the world as you go through. Astro Boy will make a little comment, oh, my sensors are picking something up here. So the more people you collect or meet, the more points you have to level up. The people are your ability or your leveling up points. It's a straightforward, good, quick time. It's easy to pick up and put down, and while that's perfect for a handheld game, it's not something a lot of, I don't know, maybe it's recently, but it's not something a lot of handheld games I've seen do well. I played for large chunks, so maybe I definitely played this a bit differently, but I could easily see myself picking it back up for 30 minutes, 20 minutes, or, just killing time and not being bothered about anything. The long and short of this game is, I'm not gonna spoil the plot, but it's about racism towards robots, robot civil rights, and revenge. But the long version is, it's a game about Astro Boy growing into himself and learning what makes him, Astro Boy, special, and how he should use it for good and not fall to evil. Standard kind of choose the light, don't go to the dark. I won't spoil the plot here for y'all, like I said, because I think this game, you should give it a shot. Either if you can find it on the original Game Boy Advanced or emulate it. I'm not advocating for emulation. For legal reasons, I will say do this at your own risk if you want to emulate. I'm not promoting it. I just want to put it in there. Let's just say the plot and the game there's a lot more to it than you would, think flipping through the box or flipping through, a walkthrough or something. And there's an element of time travel. But you didn't hear that from me. You could totally miss the whole game and the whole point of this if you rush through the game. But because, you just want to get to beating crap up, but there is actually a story, and it is worth slowing down and playing this game, nicely. Is nicely the way to say that? Well, that's the way I said it. Now, having played through this game, I can see why people love it. It's fast, it's fun, it's exciting, it doesn't overstay its welcome. There's satisfying gameplay, a good story, and a lovable character that you just want to hug Astro Boy. Even if you've never been in the Astro Boy universe before, you can still appreciate the game, because it basically introduces every single person, well, not every single person, but most of the important people in the Astro Boy universe, from Astro Boy meeting them. So you get to meet them as well. I can see how some people would say that this game is a bit repetitive, especially when you hit the second part, the birth and the rebirth. Basically, not spoiling anything of the plot, you replay what you played in birth. Everything's a little bit different, and at first I was confused. I was I'm just replaying the same game. No, it's completely different, but I can see how some people, that would be a big point of contention for them. For me, it's not an issue. For me, because I saw this, I'm reading the story and I'm playing along, and I'm there has to be a reason for it, right? And I will say sometimes you do have to go back and play specific levels a couple times, especially if you forgot what you were there for, but it does have a pretty nice checkpoint and split up system, so you don't have to play the whole level again. You can pick and choose within the level sometimes where you need to go to get what you need. But also, to the repetitiveness comment, I gotta say, remember, this is only a handheld game. I mean, now it's emulated, yes, but this is a handheld game, not a console release, not a PC release. So it gets away with, being maybe a little bit more condensed. I know there's some excellent handheld games out there. I've played some of them. I played this one. But, remember, games are designed to be played 30 minutes at a time, or while you're riding on the bus, or, quickly before bed, not played for 4 hours straight, especially back in the day. Oh god, I sound old, but back in the day, sometimes the handhelds, you would get an average of 8 hours sometimes, but as the consoles got older, you didn't get that. As much as it sucked, it was just the batteries, sometimes said no, or the console itself started to get faulty and old. I can speak. I would definitely 100% recommend you play this game, if you can. Whether you emulate it, in which you're doing at your own risk, or you can find it on the GBA. It's just a cool little GBA throwback with good music, combat, and timeless visuals, at least timeless for me, because I love that style. You don't have to know anything about Astro Boy to play it, or get into the story. Like I said, you get reintroduced to everybody. Just when you think the story's over, they throw another curveball at you, and I was like, oh snap. And it was so cool. But there's a point to it. And while you search and use your brain to solve some of the clues and problems you're given, sometimes if you're not paying attention, you can get completely lost. And I finished the game in 8 hours, 100% completion, getting all the characters, unlocking all the finishing stages, or unlocking all the finishing stuff, all the stages. I did have to get help with a walkthrough, because sometimes I got confused or I wasn't paying attention to the clues given to me, and I got lost. I can say, in 2018, I've made it my goal to finish at least one game a month, and so far, this has probably been one of the best games I've played. Although I do have some reviews coming up of some bomb-ass games that are just like, ooh, there might be a fight. If you'd like to see me do a recap at the end of the year, what game I like the most, let me know. But anyway, that is Astro Boy Omega Factor. I swiftly enjoyed this game. I thought it was well thought out, well executed. It looks good, it feels good, it sounds good, it plays good. It's just, ooh, I can see why a lot of people love this game, and at first I was nervous to cover it, but nah, this is a good game.